So Hank Azaria is amazing. I personally think that he's another one of my favorites. I personally liked him in The Birdcage. He was Agatha Spartacus. He was the gay maid that Robin Williams and Nathan Lane had. He was, of course, from Guatemala. And, you know, he even said he would not go back to playing Agatha or Spartacus because he was not gay, and that he felt like, you know, he took away from an actual gay person playing him. But honestly, a lot of gay people said they weren't offended by him playing it, and, you know, that's as mad respects to somebody who is straight that can play a gay person and not offend a whole community, because, you know, he was perfect at it. And that, I think, makes a great comedian who can do something like that and, you know, make it funny and yet not be offensive. And that's what I like in comedy, where, you know, there's a borderline between, you know, you're making something funny but not being offensive. So, and I did just find out that he was also in Night at the Museum as the Thinker, which I didn't know. So, now you know. He was also Moe in Simpsons, which, again, I am not a big fan of The Simpsons. Yeah, that might get me a lot of yelling and screaming up, but I was not a big fan of The Simpsons. I mean, I like Nancy Harrigan as Bart, but other than that, the only full episode that I've ever seen is the episode of Lisa Line, which is the mock of Coraline, because I'm a big Coraline fan. But other than that, that is like all I've seen of The Simpsons. I know basic premise-ish of Simpsons, like, you know, like Homer is kind of stupid, Lisa's smart, Bart's Bart, and Marge is Marge, and Maggie is, I guess, somewhat smart, and then the dog is, I think, named Christmas Eve or something like that. I don't know what the dog's name. Dog's got some holiday name. That's all I know. I'm not very knowledgeable of the Simpsons world besides that. So, yeah, I guess I'm not as knowledgeable as I thought I was. So, but, Hank Azaria, I do know that people had a lot of problems with the fact that he was a poo and that he was white. And people had this problem years later after the fact. And I was like, okay, people, that's a good voice actor. If you had a problem with that after all these years and we got mad, we have a problem, because that's a good voice actor. That's a good comedian. But okay, let's be mad at that, but not be mad at like 20 other things that actually fucking matter. But okay, whatever. You know, cheers. We can't take a joke, apparently. Well, you know, I'm just saying, I think the funniest thing beyond Hank Azaria, the fact that he can do something like that and apparently offend a whole community of people who, like, don't think it's funny, is the fact that I can not, like, I can offend my own people. And I'm not gonna lie, I feel like I offend my whole entire community of Asians by not being a good Asian. And I'll make you understand what that means. I feel like I fail at being an Asian. The simple fact of, when a native Asian comes up to me and tries to talk to me, I'm not gonna lie, I look at them like they have 5 heads. My fiance understands them better than I do. I literally have to be like, babe, what's being said? And that, a part of that is I can't hear. The other part is I cannot understand the accent to save my life, and I feel so bad. He understands it better than I do. I swear he's better Asian than I am, and he's fucking Mexican. And it's so sad, because we used to go to this Chinese restaurant, and they knew Gabe, and they're like, oh, you want the same thing? You want your fried rice? Great. And then I'm like, but they said it in such a heavy accent. I'm like, huh? And I'm a failure as an Asian. I can't do math. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a pharmacist. I can't cook rice either. Unless it's minute rice, forget it. I'm a failure as an Asian. I really am. I was so whitewashed. I was adopted. I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you. Cheers. I'm a failure. But, you know, something comes good out of being a whitewashed Asian is the fact that I can laugh about it now. I didn't realize how bad I was. I really didn't. I didn't realize that I necessarily had a tiny bit of a problem. It's when I realized that I, like, did some Asian stuff. The 2 Asian things I do is I do martial arts, or I did martial arts. I stopped at a master belt, which was a 4-3 black belt, which means I mastered all the basics. And I can eat with chopsticks. Which I apparently thought everybody knew how to eat with chopsticks. But again, to me that was like, I guess, normal, because both me and my fiance can do that. But I realized how out of place I was when I was at a Japanese restaurant today, and it was me and my fiance, my roommate, and a friend of ours. So we were kind of mixed race there. And then a black family, 3 Asian families, and another white family. And my thought was, why the fuck do I feel out of place? All the Asian families are kind of eating with chopsticks, and whatever. Don't know about the black family, the white family wasn't, and then we were kind of mixed too, eating with chopsticks, not eating with chopsticks, whatever. Boy, did I fucking feel out of place. Of course, I was getting the side-eyed from the Asian family. And I could definitely tell, and you could cut that tension with a knife. I was like, I get that way more often than you might think, and it's actually pretty common. Especially if it's with me and my fiance by ourselves. With friends, it's not as common, but with just me and my fiance, I get scrutinized a lot more because a lot of people don't like the fact that I'm with him. They just don't say it outrightly, but they'll silently judge, and it's fucking annoying. But yeah, that's just the shit I have to deal with. And you know what? It's my shit I deal with, and the rest of the people who think that they have the right to judge me, they can go fuck it. So, you know what? Guys, I'm so glad I got to have this fun with you, and I really appreciate you guys staying up with me tonight. It was so much fun. I'll talk to you guys the next time here on What's So Funny. All right, bye.